Humanitarian organization Gift of the Givers is calling on Al-Qaeda to release South African Gerco van Deventer from captivity. He's currently being held hostage in Mali. The organization says it's calling for Van Deventer to be released on compassionate grounds. For more on this now, let's speak to Dr. Imtiaz Suleiman, founder of Gift of the Givers. Dr. Suleiman, I know you have a lot of experience dealing with hostage situations at Gift of the Givers. What do you know about his condition at the moment?
Good afternoon, Aaron. His condition, from what we know, is fine. We have a relationship with intermediaries. Intermediaries are those guys who eventually connect to the captors. We've had the relationships since 2015 when we were dealing with Stephen McGowan, Johan Gustafsson, then again with Christoph Botma and Mr. Patel about 2018, 2019. And then, of course, in 2019, they informed us that the intermediaries informed us that Gerco was held in Mali, that he was moved from Libya to Mali. In 2023, January, they sent us a video. And in the video, he looks fine. He asked to be helped, to be brought home. He says they're trying to make contact with the government, but that's not been successful. And then 3 weeks ago, or 2 weeks ago, a citizen from France, a French national, was released. And then a French radio station called us to say that a French citizen told them that he was for 2 years in captivity in Mali, but for the last 6 months, he was with Gerco. And he said, Gerco was in good condition, and he was fine. Again, he said, please do something to bring me home. On Wednesday, we received another video. That is to go back a little. My negotiator, we sent him back to Mali on Saturday night. He arrived Sunday. On Monday, he tried to make contact with the chief intermediary, who assists us to make contact with the captors to secure the release of Stephen McGowan. He was not in the country, but he told him to wait his coming in by the end of next weekend. Then on Tuesday night, he met the intermediaries, the guys who've been giving us information all the time about Gerco. And then on Wednesday night, through them, late night, we received a new video. New in inverted commas, because it was made on the 15th of March. And there again, Gerco says, it's okay. He's been shot in his left arm. That was some time ago. But other than that, he's fine. He wants to come home. And so from what they've told us and from the videos, it seems that he's fine, of course, from a physical point of view. From an emotional point of view, he says he doesn't know the condition of his wife and 3 children. He doesn't know, what the status is. He also says he wants his freedom that has been taken from him. So obviously, emotionally and psychologically, it's a huge challenge for the poor man who's there for 5 years and 5 months.
An ongoing saga, as you say, and I understand you're hoping for your negotiator to move north now. In terms of the Van Deventer family and wife Shireen, what have these videos meant to see him and see his condition and see him address the issue of being released?
The wife has been really strong, I must tell you. For the last few years, whenever you're in touch with her, she's always hopeful, always praying. And she's strong there for a child. She has 1 child from this marriage. She's there for the child. And last week when I spoke to her, what was very touching was she said that her son, when he goes to sports events or goes to school, says he looks at the other kids and sees they have their fathers coming with them to the school event or do things in sport or do things together. And he doesn't have the luxury of that. He was probably 7 years old when his father was taken. He's now 12 years old. And she has to be strong for him. And she says every time we send her a message or talk to her, send her a video, it gives her more hope. It makes her positive. She's really a very strong woman, I must tell you. And we're hoping for her sake and her child's sake and the other 2 children that we can succeed in getting him out, I'm hoping to say soon.
I'm actually getting goosebumps hearing you talk about the impact this has had on Gerco van Deventer's wife and child and also other children in the household. In terms of the kind of work that happens to negotiate the release of a hostage, there are delicacies around whether or not a ransom will be paid, by whom, whether that emboldens organizations that do take people hostage. How do you negotiate all of that as Gift of the Givers? I know you don't pay ransoms.
No, we are facilitators for families. We get called by people to help. And we then send a negotiator who speaks to intermediaries. There's basically 2 options or 3 options, and it all involves money. The first one, the direct option is They want money because hostage taking now, it has nothing to do with politics or, some type of ideology or some kind of religious practice. It's straightforward a money game. It's just another commodity. That's how it's done these days. So they want money. And the problem is when you come from a background, where governments don't get involved, there's no family, there's no company, there is no money. But they generally ask for three things. Either money, or a release of their friends in prison, or a combination of both. We were fortunate that we got Yulani Koki out in Yemen at no cost. We secured the release of Pierre Koki in Yemen at no cost. But unfortunately, the day he was coming home, the American Marines went into the area and both he and the American hostage, Luke Summers, died. We were getting the Sicasto Botma's release also unconditionally. The old people said, let him go free, no money, but the young people were objecting. Unfortunately, at some point, Christo got shot and he passed on in captivity. In this case, we negotiated the price down from $3 million to $500,000 US. But we reached a dead end because nobody had money. And there's a story behind this. He was taken in Libya with 3 Turkish engineers. Yes. They all worked for the same company. But the engineers there for a much longer time. He had just started the work in Libya. So the company paid for the 3 engineers. So either the captors in Libya must have passed information to the guys in Mali, or they figured it out that if 3 could get paid for, then maybe the 4th one could get paid for also. So there's a very good opportunity for money. And we then started negotiations telling him there is no money, no company, no government, no family. And we were consistent with that messaging from 2019. But then came COVID, and everything stopped. And then when the video came in 2023, we told them, you send us the video, our stance is the same of what we told you in 2019 onwards. There is no money. And then when the message came they told us about the French person who was released, and the radio station called us, and we met them again on Tuesday night. We gave them the same message, there's no money. But then we decided to do something different. And, it's a technique that can be used, not guaranteed it will work. But the advantage we had, the timing was correct. It's the month of Ramadan. Yes. And in Ramadan, they're generally supposed to be more calm, more relaxed, more open-hearted, more compassionate. So our means of approaching this is using Ramadan, which is regarded as the month of mercy in Islamic terms, to approach them. And we got the wife, Shireen, and the son to make a video, which we haven't shown to the public, but sent it directly to the captors. They have the videos in hand, they've received it, we've been told that by the intermediaries. And in that video, and what we are saying is openly, there is no money, we can't pay, the family can't pay, nobody can pay, please release him on compassionate grounds. And that's where we stand right now. So it's upfront we're saying, we're not even negotiating a price to say half price, a quarter price, or no price. We tell you straight, there is no money, release on compassionate grounds. That's the technique we're using this time.
I mean, that is an interesting development. Instead of kind of haggling over what is this person's life worth in US dollars, to appeal to belief and faith, really, and try and find a human connection in the month of Ramadan to have him released. Are you optimistic it will work?
I'm always optimistic, but you've got to be realistic also. There's 2 more things that we did, and then I'll answer your question. On Friday night, there was an event where the Muslim Judicial Council was which is a very highly recognized religious body. At the event, the Vice President, Maulana Abdul Khalik Ibrahim Ali, agreed to make a video call, a video message to Al-Qaeda. And he speaks Arabic. So he did it in Arabic to ask for the unconditional release. So this time, there's more than just our call. It's additional calls. And we sent the video across on Friday night. Then last night, spontaneously, a community activist, Zaibu Nisa Rashid, in a place called New Horizons in Pelican Park, told us about 4 days ago, the gift of the Givers funds the feeding program in the evening for fast breaking. So when we told her we bring in the food, she said she's got this idea to have a placard demonstration or display, and and make a call to ask them to release Gerco van Deventer unconditionally. And from 1,500 people last night, it swelled to 3,000 people. They had placards, they all ate. She made a video and a call was made, and that video and those pictures have also been sent across. So this is, the approach for trying to get the people out. Am I positive? Yes, I'm positive. I'm always positive. But there's three factors that are a part of a challenge from the realistic point of view. If they took her straight without having been bought from another party, it would have been a little easier. But because they bought him from a group in Libya, which is not Al-Qaeda, it's some other group, they paid a premium. Now, when they pay a premium, I told you at the beginning, this is a business transaction. They need their money back. Number two, the experience they had in Christoph Botma's cases, the old people said yes, the young people said no. So we don't know if we're going to face that kind of challenge again. But right now, to try to bypass that, we try to talk to as many young people as possible. And that's one of the reasons my negotiator may go to the north. Thirdly, the other big challenge is that within their groups, besides the local inhabitants, there are foreign nationals involved with them. We have to hope that the local inhabitants at that point, at where Gerco has been held, outnumber the foreign nationals. If that happens, there's a greater chance of him being released unconditionally, because the guys from Mali themselves are generally much more soft-hearted, more compassionate, and more easier to talk to. But the foreign guys, it's a bit more complicated.
So you're hoping that the Malians will be humane in response to this plea for compassionate release in the month of Ramadan. You've spoken about a number of videos, including those from Van Deventer's family. I don't know if they might be open to sharing that with Newzroom Afrika, but if they are, we would be keen to share that with our viewers and spread that message. Just lastly then, Dr. Suleiman.
I've asked them not to release it.
Oh, I understand. Okay. What is the timeline now? Is it a waiting game? Do you have any sort of pattern in terms of when you might expect a response to these various videos?
It's very variable. Remember, it took us 2 years to get out Stephen McGowan. But he was there for 3 years and several months before we actually got involved. And in this case, of course, there's one, so I'll come back to that. There's one positive factor. When I spoke about positives and negatives, one positive factor is that he's already there for 5 years. We're not starting in the first year. And we made that call to them to say, please tell us, if there was money, would anybody allow a husband and a father to stay with you guys for 5 years and 5 months? While the child is growing up and the family is finding difficulty. Because there's no money, that's why it's so long with you. And we call on the commission to decide whether you want to keep him till something happens to him, or you want to release him, because no matter how long you wait, there's no money going to come. So that's the point we made across to them. It now depends on, their meetings. They would have a discussion with the elders, with the tribal leaders, work out how much it costs them to buy Gerco from the Libyan group. And of course, when you speak to them, we tell them what's the money for. They say expenses. So we ask, what expenses? They said we give him food, we give them water, we give them clothes, we give them medical care, we provide transport and accommodation. So at one point with other hostages, we told them, but you guys took it the person, you need to pay him for all that. They said, this is our business, we charge for that. So, but given the month of Ramadan, given the extra videos coming, given that, we're speaking to intermediaries, we may have to wait for the chief guy who's not in the country right now. That guy is very, very influential. And the intermediaries can make or break your case for you. They could put in a very strong word and make all the difference. He's out of the country right now. He's in Saudi Arabia for pilgrimage. He comes back next week, after Eid, and he's told my negotiator, Muhammad Yahya Digo, please don't go. Wait for me. I want to talk to you. Yahya will decide while he's on the ground whether he needs to move to the north now or 2 days' time, or wait for the other guy to come from Saudi Arabia. So to answer your question, I have no timeline. I have absolutely no idea, because these things don't follow a pattern. It's not a linear thing. You send you the video today, tomorrow you give me an answer, Wednesday the problem is solved. The only thing I can tell you is that if I had $500,000 today, in 7 days, the Gerco will be home. That's how the system works.
Goodness, as you say, it's a money game. Also interesting to hear how religion and faith are playing into these negotiations and just how delicate they are with various stakeholders in different countries, in different areas. We wish Mohammed Diko, your negotiator, the best of luck with that, and best to you at Gift of the Givers, and keep doing the incredible work you do, and thoughts to Shireen and the rest of the Van Deventer family. Thank you, Dr. Suleiman.